This is just fantastic to see everybody, not only not only physician investigator colleagues, but patients. So welcome to the Jam. It is really going to be a wonderful experience for all of us, I do believe. I'm John Stone, and it's my honor and privilege to be the executive chairman of the IgG4ward Foundation. So thinking about this disease X, it's remarkable to me that 25 years ago, if you had one of the manifestations that many of you in the room have had, or if you had many of the manifestations all at once, no one in the world would have known what to call your disease. You would have been floating along like this boat about to hit an iceberg, and no one in the world would have known what to call it. If you were lucky, someone might have called your particular organ problem sclerosing pancreatitis or Riedel's thyroiditis, and maybe put you on steroids for a while. But there would have been no one who knew how to deal with your issues longitudinally, and you would have come in and out of the healthcare system, and it's likely that a disaster might have befallen you over time. 5 years ago, your disease might have been ultimately diagnosed with IgG4-related disease, but by the time you got to that diagnosis, finally, which you would be very relieved to have, unfortunately, there may have been a lot of unfortunate consequences, damage, before getting to that point. So we have a lot to do together as a foundation to make this situation better. It was my privilege recently to be in Oslo, Norway, and I went to the Munch Museum. For a long time I had thought that this artist's name was pronounced Munch or Munch, but the Norwegians say Munch, and he was a fabulous artist. He had his demons on the picture on the left. I think there's one of those demons is above him. And in the middle, the demon is on the table, and that demon sort of proliferated. Like many artists, he had demons, and the proliferation of bottles, I think, underscores one of his demons. But he was a fabulous artist, and he understood the range of human emotions, and he painted them wonderfully. So this is melancholy, and this is angst, anxiety. But he's most famous for this, the scream, which I think you all recognize. This was Munch. And this picture, I think, really encapsulates what many people living with IgG4-related disease felt when they were finally diagnosed. The scream, it captures the fear, the apprehension, the anxiety, the feeling of being overwhelmed. And this painting, which is so wonderful, I think has turned out to be a curse for Munch, because he's known so well for this and not as well as known as he should be for many of the other things. You can buy a Munch t-shirt with the scream for $15.95, and everyone knows this, but they don't know the rest of his works. He also did an etching of the scream in black and white, and you can get a black and white version too from Artarama for $50, I think. But he was so much more than the scream, which is a marvelous painting. He also understood the ennobling things that humans can do as well. And he was asked by the University of Oslo to paint a mural for the central hall of the University of Oslo. And this painting called The Sun hangs there. And it tells a really much different message. It really speaks to enlightenment and to universal and eternal truths, and to science and innovation, when he painted this more than 100 years ago now, and vitality and energy. You can see the rays coming off. That's the innovation and the energy waves. And so he was able to capture really the full spectrum, I think, of human emotions in his painting. And the mission of the foundation really is to decrease this, the scream, and replace it with this, the sun. And I think we've made a lot of progress doing that over the last 15 years as the community of IgG4-related disease investigators. And we will continue doing this with greater speed as a foundation now. So I'm going to share with you just a little bit of IgG4-related disease history, just a small sector, because I told Dr. Kay I wouldn't talk about the history. She's going to do that. But this is my very first patient with IgG4-related disease. I saw her in 2007. I can't believe it's been that long ago. 26-year-old woman from Casablanca with swollen submandibular glands. By July of 2008, which was Dr. Kay's first days as a rheumatology fellow, by this time I was giving medicine grand rounds on this disease I had become so fascinated by. And here's a picture of Dr. Kay. And over the next 2 years during her fellowship, we became increasingly fascinated by this disease. We were fortunate to be the first to describe some organ systems that were affected by IgG4-related disease, and every day was just another eureka moment. Such an exciting time. We wrote this paper, IgG4-related systemic disease. We hadn't even settled on the name yet, the age of discovery. And we came to 2009, which was the end of Arzu's fellowship, and we thought, where are we going with this next? It is still too early for the NIH to know anything about this, even though we've been publishing papers. We didn't think we could get an NIH grant to study it. We were still some years away from conversations with industry about how to support this from a therapeutic standpoint. So one day in my office, we decided we would invite the world for a symposium. We would reach out to the Japanese investigators who had been writing a lot about the disease since 2003, and we would invite them to come to Boston in 2011 for an international symposium on IgG4-related disease. And we did get an NIH grant, a very small NIH grant, to help fund that. We got some money from industry to do that, and we planned to hold the world's first symposium. We couldn't wait to meet all of the Japanese investigators. And then Fukushima happened right before the symposium was supposed to start. And we wondered, well, we're going to have this symposium and there'll be about 9 people in the room because the Japanese were supposed to come, and we weren't sure that the Japanese were going to be able to make it. But make it they did, and this is a picture of the first international symposium on IgG4-related disease in 2011. And this meeting really set the tone for the spirit of the collaborators, the physician investigators in IgG4-related disease. Since then, we have worked together wonderfully as a community, and many of those people who were at this very first meeting are here today to participate in the JAM. And this meeting today is going to be equally important for the IgG4-related disease community, if not more so. So this was Boston 2011. Then we continued to meet in Waikiki because, of course, Waikiki is a terrible place to be in February. And again in Maui in 2014. which made a lot of sense for our collaborators from Asia to come. And then in the middle of COVID, the Japanese kept the flame burning. No one could actually go to Japan for the meeting, so the Japanese held it themselves. And we in the West stayed up all night to watch the live streaming from Kyushu. And then Emmanuel de la Torre held the 5th International Symposium in Milan just this past April. And we have made a lot of progress over this time. Since 2003, since the Japanese first described the disease, since 2007, when I saw my first patient, we've made a lot of progress together as a research community. We now recognize the disease. I think we've described it in all of the organs. We've decided what to call it. We developed management guidelines, which are now 10 years old and need to be updated and will. This is a mission. We will update them now. We developed classification criteria, which work wonderfully in trials. We've had marvelous scientific collaborations, bench to bedside collaborations, bedside to bench collaborations, leading to understandings of how the disease works immunologically. And this, in turn, has led to the development of rational treatments. We've done clinical trials, and there's going to be a very important paper describing one of them published next week in a very important medical journal. So stay tuned for that. And I do believe before 2025 is too old, we'll have the first proved drug for this condition. All that's a lot of progress. But there has been one thing amazingly missing from all of this, from all of these meetings and all of this progress, and that is people living with IgG4-related disease. We've had a wonderful time together, we group of investigators. We've had a wonderful time with our patients individually in clinic, and I do believe we've helped them a lot. But patients have not been at meetings like this, and that is a remarkable oversight. It wasn't possible to do this until now, though. It really wasn't possible because patients were not organized enough, had not been organized enough to facilitate this, and what we needed was a foundation, a scaffolding, if you will, on which to base such a patient-focused meeting. And now we have a foundation. We're not quite as strong as the Roman aqueduct in Segovia, which is 2,000 years old and still transports water. But the foundation was really essential to the development of this meeting. So now we have an IgG4-related disease community that has people living with IgG4-related disease at the center of the community. And that's where, of course, that's what should be at the center. We have clinicians, caregivers, industry partners, friends and family, and researchers. And they're all together now here at the JAM. The community is really now completely together. So I have some thank yous to say, and the first one is to thank you, all of you, for coming. I was talking with Dr. Kay before we started, and she said, I think this meeting is going to be just like 2011. I have the same kind of feeling. And indeed, I do too. And at 8 a.m. this morning when I met Christina from California, who is here for the meeting, I could just tell by the radiance from her face that this is the spirit of 2011. So thank you. I also must thank our sponsors, Amgen, our platinum sponsors, Zenas and Asapodia, gold sponsors, and other donors to this meeting, which have already made it a success. So thank you. And I have to thank Catherine Provencher, who is our Director of Patient Advocacy, Catherine is so obviously the right person for this job, and I was so lucky that it finally dawned on me that she is the right person to be the director of patient advocacy. With her understanding of mental health issues, her ability to write well, her creative talents has just astonished me again and again, and we had, really without even discussing it, an implicit understanding of what we wanted to, where we want to take the foundation. So she's been marvelous. I also have to thank our advisory board. Wen Zhang is here, leading a Chinese contingent from Beijing. I'm delighted to have her. The Bambers, Michael and Linda Bamber, Raymond Ewan, and Henry Danforth. You'll hear more from Henry later. Matthias Luhr and Emma Culver. Emma was at the 2011 symposium as well. Sean Nair and Yoshia Tanaka from Kyushu. Corey Perugino, who'll speak later on, and Emmanuel Della Torre, who I think is winging it from Milan. He'll be here shortly. Dr. K and me, and a recent addition to our advisory board, Brian Travers. We've learned that we have to be nimble as an organization, so we have a board, a smaller number of these individuals who can meet very quickly, as is often very important for organizational reasons. So Henry, Arazu, Corey, Brian, and I are the 5 board members of the organization. So thanks to all of you. Thanks to our partners at Patient Advocacy Strategies who have done a wonderful job pulling this meeting together, Mike Walsh, Josh Argall, Nina Nevins, and Carrie Levesi. And last but certainly not least, Payal Patel, who has been my coordinator at MGH for 13 years now, I think. I think she just missed the 2011 meeting, and Payal is the Shohei Ohtani of IgG4-related disease. She can play any position on the field. And it is appropriate that the base paths are pink for Payal. And not only can she play any position like Ohtani, she's a first base coach and a third base coach and a manager. So thank you, Payal. So this was at the very first symposium, we created a great tradition for these meetings. This was the poster of the very first IgG4-related disease symposium, and all of the attendees signed the poster. And this is one of my prized possessions. It's framed on my wall, and it's wonderful to look back and see the signatures of the collaborators who were there. We continued it. This is from Milan. All of the attendees signed the Milan poster as well. And here we have this. We have the IgG4ward Jamboree poster. It's here. It's also over here. And we're going to sign this now together. We're going to start signing it. We'll have a few signatures now as we kick the meeting off. It's highly appropriate that a patient be the first to sign these posters, and we'll have representatives from clinicians and caregivers and industry partners, et cetera, come up and sign. And over the course of the meeting, it's important that every single person sign both of these. Now there are two, let's see, I'll go back to it. There are two places to sign. You can sign in the blue area, and we have a white pen, which will show up brilliantly. And you can also sign in the cloud, and we have a black pen that you can use to sign that. So everyone doesn't need to come up now, but over the course of the meeting, it's important that everybody sign both of these. So let's start, and it is important that a patient be the first one. So I would like to call Sabrina to come up and sign the poster. You can sign in any language you want. Now over there, and you can sign with white if you want, it doesn't really matter. Okay, all right. And the clinician is Dr. K. Will Dr. K please come and sign? Well done. Okay, let's get our industry partners teed up. So we need 3 signatories, one from Amgen. I think Noah Brown is going to sign for Amgen. And Sunny Shao, please, for Asapodia. And is someone from Zenas here? Okay, yes. Okay, white? Okay, yeah, that's great. Sunny, white or black? Okay. And Kathy Maxwell will sign for Zenas. We skipped over a very important group. This caregivers. Is Linda Bamber here? Linda. Aha! Very good. Linda is on our advisory board, and she's the caregiver of Michael, who is also on our advisory board. Okay, friends and family. Is Steve here? Steve with Beth. Aha, yes. Steve, please. Steve Surratt brings Beth up all the way from New York? New Jersey. New Jersey, same thing. And you've got to sign both, Steve. Thank you. Okay, and finally, the researchers represented by the Perugino family, Corey and his sons, Theo and Jack. So choose your weapon there and decide where you want to sign. Thank you, Jack. Okay, before I get to announcements and then close up, I wanted to say there's one other signer we have to have of the posters, and that's Dan Simbora. Is Dan here? There's Dan. So Dan is among a very small group in this room who have been involved with the Amgen study from the very beginning. Arazu and Emma and Emmanuel and maybe 1 or 2 others were there back in 2018-19 when we first got this trial going. And Dan he was there on that day in Dallas and has been here through the whole thing. So Dan, you should also sign the poster, please. Choose your weapon and sign wherever you like, both of them. Thank you, Dan. Okay, so a few announcements. In addition to the posters, we're going to have a group photo as well. And we're probably going to do this right after the breakout sessions today. The photographer, Chandler, looking down from the 4th floor, taking a picture of all of us. So that will be something that we treasure in the future as well. A few other things. The breakout sessions, these are short talks. We've invited experts from around the world to come and talk about certain aspects of IgG4 related disease. So typically short talks, maybe slides, maybe not, and then Q&A. So you can ask the moderator of the session anything you want about that topic or anything about IgG4 related disease. Slight change in the schedule. The navigating the medical and health insurance systems will only be on Sunday. We're combining those breakout sessions. Filming. Many of you have asked about this. So all of the podium presentations are being filmed. And about half of the breakout sessions are also being filmed. So if you want to take notes about what's going to be filmed, session 1 will be the lung. We're trying to expand our content about individual organ manifestations. Session 2 that will be filmed is retroperitoneal fibrosis. Kidney is the third, and then less common manifestations of IgG4-related disease will also be filmed. We'll be repackaging a lot of the content for display on our website going forward. So you'll be able to see all of it again, or anything that you missed this time. And finally, I just wanted to close with how to make a jam. We have never done this before. And so we're going to figure out how to make a jam together. But I have a few suggestions. One is introduce yourself to people you don't know, and there are a lot of people you don't know, maybe some you do. But don't be shy about introducing yourself. Don't be shy about asking questions. All questions are welcome. We have microphone stands here and here. We have handheld microphones that will pass around, so that's all part of the team building. You know, if you have need to get the mic, call for it. Soak it all in, spread it all around, especially afterwards, and enjoy. And let's start. Yes, that would be great. Yes, please. Put it in a safe place. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Wendy, Yin Yang, and Lingli. And now we'll move on to our final presentation of the first part of the afternoon. And it's a great pleasure to introduce Catherine Proventer to talk about the role and impact of the IgG4ward Foundation.
I just need to take a moment and look at all of you and take this in. This is truly an amazing moment for me as a caregiver. I never could have imagined being up here, looking at a room filled of patients, caregivers, family, friends, healthcare professionals, researchers, all here for the same reason. When my husband was diagnosed, we knew nothing about this disease. We knew no one. So to be standing here and looking at all of you is, I honestly don't have the words for it right now, but maybe they'll come by the end of the weekend. So with that said, hello everyone. Did it go? Uh-oh, what'd I do? Green button, big green button, thanks Corey. I am Catherine Proventer, and I thought it was important when I introduced myself to put caregiver first, ahead of director of patient advocacy, because I wouldn't be here if I wasn't married to my husband who's living with IgG4 related disease. It really took our path in a different direction, and I am so grateful to be here and to advocate for each and every one of you, not just my husband, but all of you. So to begin, our mission really is to improve the lives of all of you that are affected by this disease. And our mission is built by these 4 pillars: education. Without education, you're not as empowered. And so we want to empower you all with the education that you need. And that includes healthcare professionals as well. Advocacy and bringing you all together, unifying our voice, will only help with our advocacy efforts. Research, you heard the amazing physicians before me talk about the research that has been done, that is in the process of doing that. We hope to support that as well. And of course, patient support, one of our strongest pillars that we have standing up. And you know, when I was writing this out, I thought to myself, I wanted to make sure that you all knew that these aren't just words that are written. They're not just words that I'm speaking. These are words that really drive our mission. They drive our programs. They drive everything that we do for you. I thought this was the perfect image to show the journey of the IgG4ward since our launch. And we started out, Dr. Stone planted the seed in November 15th, 2023. That seed bloomed a little bit and grew a little bit when he launched the foundation. And I was lucky enough to be there for that launch, and it was the day that I felt the most filled with hope, knowing that this disease was going to be recognized. There would be more treatments. There would be more people to surround each other and get through this time. Then, fast forward a little bit to April 4th, 2024, we grew a little bit more. And that was the day that Dr. Stone, 4/4/24, is the IgG4 related disease awareness day. Such an important day for all of us. And now, you all get to be a part of the next little sprout, the next growth. And here we are together this weekend for the IgG4ward Jam. And looking at 2025, our leaves have grown a little bit. We're sprouting towards the sun. That's how I envision the next year. We have so many plans ahead, and we can't wait to get there. But first, the highlights of our year. We really built, to support our mission, to support the foundation. We focused on organizational development, community engagement, collaboration, awareness, and of course, events. Dr. Stone went through this a little bit before, but what holds up an organization is a strong foundation. And we have built that over this year. We have our board of directors, our advisory members, and then I was lucky enough to join the foundation and be another brick there. As you all know, the digital presence is so important this day and age. Everybody's on the web. Everybody's looking for somewhere to connect when they're on their website. And we did a great job building our digital presence this year. We have over 1,500 subscribers to our website, which is remarkable. So that means that there's 1,500 more people getting accurate, important, trusted truth regarding their disease. And then in April, we launched our online community. And this is a safe, supportive area where people can come, ask questions, connect with one another. Dr. Stone sometimes even answers some of your questions. So it's a really great community to be a part of. And we're happy with the progress that it has made. Then, of course, I hope that you have all seen some of our content that we have had out there. Education really is the cornerstone of empowerment, like I said before. And that's where we really focused this year. We hosted 12 webinars. We were very busy throughout the year. And 2 caregivers conversations. All of those are available on our website, on YouTube, for you to go back to. I have, sent videos to people before doctor's appointments, or if they've had questions, hey, reference this video at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. They're very, very helpful. So, take a peek if you haven't already. And then building global networks. It is so important. We all know IgG4-related disease is not contained to North America or the United States. So we are really working hard to build that global network. And our physician network is one of the greatest pride. Our little baby that was born and is now 110 physicians over 32 countries. Phenomenal. If you haven't already checked that out, please go onto our website. If you know somebody that's looking for a physician that may be educated in IgG4-related disease, please direct them to the physician network. I hope to see this grow. I hope to see more little blue dots all over the world. And then, of course, Dr. Stone spoke about the IgG4-related disease international symposium. And we were lucky to be a part of that as the foundation. We're raising awareness. If we don't have the awareness about a disease, we don't have that empowerment. We aren't able to go and advocate for ourselves. So, raising awareness and building community were two big goals for us this year. And like I said before, the first IgG4 related disease day on 4/4/24 was a really huge way to raise awareness. Now it's an established day. People know about it. The more it happens, people are going to know more and want to say, hey, what is IgG4 related disease? And it'll be out there. And then again, here you all are with me and Dr. Stone and the rest of the community at the IgG4ward Jamboree. What a great way to build community. I have had so many people already come up to me and say, I just met somebody for the first time living with my disease. Wow. I think of the other communities out there that when they're diagnosed with something, they have places to go right away. They have a foundation. They have steps to how to treat their disease, where to go. You guys didn't have that. So I can only imagine how isolating it must have felt. But now we're here, and I see all of you, we see all of you, and we only want to grow our community. Thank you. We have some very exciting plans ahead for 2025. Some of our key initiatives, which I'll briefly go over next, are Patient Ambassador Program, Centers of Excellence, mental health support, expanded educational resources, and my IgG4RD PAL app. So the Patient Ambassador Program was something that I think I brought up to Dr. Stone very early in the launching of our foundation, because it's something that I think is so important for the foundation to have, for the community to have. And our goal is to establish ambassadors in 12 countries. It's a big goal to take on. Our focus for 2025 is North America and Europe. And what we hope to do is to establish ambassadors in different areas of the country, of the world, that will serve as a resource, as a connection, as a bridge from the healthcare provider to the patient to the foundation. So a really great way to connect the community even more. Somebody will have somebody to go to after their appointment when they, were just told, hey, you got this, you don't have cancer, but you have this disease. And, we all know your mind is swirling. Now we will have somebody eventually that you'll be able to talk to and walk you through, what's next. Centers of Excellence, another big take on that we're going to try to take on this year. Our goal is to have 10 centers across the United States. Pyle, I see your face. Like I said, we have big goals, and this will really help our community, and it will take some time. But what we're hoping is to establish these centers of excellence where there will be multidisciplinary teams specific to IgG4-related disease. Everybody treating the disease will know what they're treating and how to treat it. And there will be comprehensive evaluation and treatment, and these will also be the hubs that will have the best practices, the research, where people will be saying, hey, you're in California, I'm going to send you to the Centers of Excellence, so you'll know where to go. And of course, we're not going to get by. You have a clinical social worker as a director of patient advocacy, so of course, mental health is going to be a big part of our foundation. I have witnessed it. I've seen what this disease can do to everybody's mental health, whether you're aware of it or not. But it is a long journey that you all have been on, and I know that. So I would like to provide you with more educational resources on how to cope and how to deal with these ups and downs of the disease, and empower you all to manage the psychological impact of IgG4-related disease. It's not easy, and it's not something that you're going to wake up one day and say, hey, I know how to handle the anxiety I'm feeling right now, or I know how to handle the depression I'm feeling right now. It's not that easy. So I really want to be able to be, a resource for that. And we are also exploring virtual support group options to have a safe place for the community to connect, which will be led by a licensed clinician, and another opportunity for you to talk with one another, to develop coping skills. A lot of great things. And we will continue to deepen our knowledge and engagement through fireside chats, through webinars. If you all have any topics that are of interest, please feel free to let us know, whether it's through email, throw it in the basket in the back where you can put questions as well. We want to hear from you, and we want to build our content around what's important for the patient. So please let us know. And before I wrap up, I saw this quote, and it's always meant a lot to me. Alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much. And that really is how I feel in regards to this foundation. You know, you guys cannot do this alone. We can't do this alone. We are here because of you. We are here because of what you all have contributed to the foundation. We are here because we want to help you and improve your lives. And so let's all join together and let's let the world know about IgG4 related disease and how to live with it. Thank you.